on to the final part of the show, which Tagu and I will not be joining because again, Japan is weird, and I
Wait,
guess
guys,
Philippines as well.
look at my
And the
tickets.
Philippines.
Spider-Man, no way, ho!
No way home.
No way, ho!
No way home.
Okay, go on.
But yeah, Tagu and I will not be joining because again, we haven't watched it because we can't. So yeah. All right, so I guess go. So yeah, right now it's just me and Tagu is going to
We're gonna
leave.
we're
But
gonna
yeah,
start with the we're gonna start with the non-spoiler review, obviously. So, but you guys are gonna leave anyway, right?
I'm gonna leave anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
leave
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not
yeah.
gonna. Yeah. All right.
And
So
I'm
yeah.
not coming back.
No,
Until
coming
next
back,
week.
All right.
Go away.
Whatever. You can plug now then.
Oh, plug now then.
Well,
If you're
You're
not
not
coming
coming
back,
back.
but I don't want to. Fine.
Oh,
Oh,
fine.
no,
we'll
you have
plug
to.
for him. We'll plug for you. Go away. Get out.
Yay! All right.
Okay,
All right. But yeah.
you can't
All
find
right.
the anywhere.
So.
Don't
All right.
find
So
me,
yeah.
please.
So yeah, you got Albert and Ariq will do the Spider-Man No Way Home review. They're going to do non-spoiler first, then spoiler discussion. So yeah.
Yes.
With that, Tagu is gone.
Half the council is spoken.
Half
Half
of the
the council
council
has
has
spoken.
Tagu's
spoken.
getting blipped.
Oh yeah. All right.
You also go. Shoo.
Blip yourself, Calvin.
There you go. Yay! All right. This is like
All right.
Game of Thrones kind of stuff
We should
again.
probably. I don't know if he can hear us backstage. We should probably ask him if he's coming back or not because I forgot if he's coming back. Calvin, thumbs up, thumbs down if you're coming back or not. Thumbs up if you're coming back. Thumbs down if you're not coming back. Okay, he's
Okay,
coming
he's
back.
coming-
Okay,
he's
we'll
coming
we'll
back.
text
Okay,
you.
okay.
We'll text you on
Right,
Discord,
mute.
Mhm.
Or not, I don't know. All right.
or you can just
We
leave
can
the
start?
studio and we'll text him anyway. All right. Anyway,
Okay.
let's start with Spider-Man: No Way Home. We're gonna start with the non-spoiler review, non-spoiler thoughts, and then we will go to the spoiler discussion. So, Ariq, you wanna start?
All right. I will say I guess I think I haven't given my score for. Technically, we give it at the end, but you said off stream you said like it's a 9.5 for you. I think I'd give it more of a. The 9. I don't know for sure if it's a 9 or a 9.5 because it is really good. So in general, movies like just really good. I mean, I'll admit there was a lot of things happening at once. We'll get onto that later. But for some reason they did make it like concise and easy to easy to understand. So I did like that, and story is like really story is really good. There's a lot of emotions. And I do like just I guess the characters in general, and there's also a lot of I'm not sure if it's subtle hints. To me, they were subtle. I'm not very, good at paying attention to
Uh-huh.
everything, but there's like a lot of like subtle hints and references here and there. So I did like that. But to be honest, I'm not so sure if this movie is like a 9.5 because it has a lot of fan service, or it's a nostalgia factor, or is it actually that good on its own? So I'm not so sure about that. So I gotta say for the
That's fair.
that's all I gotta say for the non-spoiler.
I think that's one of the reasons why I want to rewatch it so soon because I really love the movie the first time I watch it, and I do want to see if it's again just the experience or if it's something else. But there's definitely a rewatchability factor to this film.
Yep,
I think you can agree with that. And what I love about this film is that it's so much more. It have much more depth and much darker than the previous home films.
Oh yeah,
from
that was
Spider-Man.
darker. Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and this also feels the most. This feels the most Spider-Man in a way, and I know that I that I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me saying because Spider-Man have like there is something that makes this film about more Spider-Man. It's like him being put in the deep on his own, having to deal with the consequences. And I don't think we really experienced that in the previous film, but they really
Yeah.
put him in the hole in this one. Like they're not holding back on the consequences of great power comes great responsibility. That whole idea, it's like literally all in this film. And Tom Holland is really fucking good in this movie. This is
Oh
the
yeah,
most that
yeah.
he's ever been put, and the relationship between him and MJ is really great. I think they're that relationship is the heart and soul of the film, because it's what they did between those two characters are really great. I think the villains, and when by non-spoiler we're gonna talk about the things that we've seen in the trailer. I think the villains that we already saw, I
Yep.
think they did a really good job with it, because handling a lot of villains might be difficult, but each of the villains sort of have a reason to be there. I
Oh
thought
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Electro was definitely much improved. We talked about my Spider-Man in the opening of this episode. I think Electro was much better here in the limited screen time that he is.
Yep.
Doc Ock is great. Willem Dafoe's Goblin, I think, at least for me, I know you like Electro more, but for me, Willem
Yeah.
Dafoe's he is the star of the show for the villains.
I
I
mean, no,
think
I
he's
agree.
great.
He's the star of the show. I just, like in terms of, how on screen, I just think Electro's cooler. That's about it.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. Uh,
Yeah. I think as a whole, I think this film handles stuff really well with Doctor Strange as well, with the villains, with all the other characters that we'll touch into in the spoiler discussion in a bit. But they balance it pretty well. Again, the depth I really appreciate it. Uh, and I think this is probably the best John Watts has done in the MCU, in my opinion. At least it's just my favorite. This is my favorite of the Spider-Man trilogy so far.
Wait, what other works has he done? Does he only do Spider-Man, all the
He
Spider-Man
does the
MCUs?
he does the MCU Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess in that case, yeah, that is his best. This is his best work, thus far.
Yeah.
Um, so are we ready to jump into the full-on spoiler, or?
Let's go to the full-on spoiler, and if there is comments, we'll touch at it in the end
Yep, yep.
of the spoiler discussion. So just to make our conversation flow more smoothly. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's
Fair
jump
enough.
let's jump to the spoiler. This is the spoiler warning.
Oh, this is the biggest part. Let's go. Wait, where's the spoiler? Yeah, there
There
you
it
go.
is, the spoiler
Spoiler
banner.
alert.
All right,
Spoiler,
Ariq,
please.
are you ready? Do you need me
Am
to
I
crack your
ready?
back? Do you need me to crack your back real quick before we jump in?
Okay, yeah, there's quite a lot of things, but I think I'm getting. Yeah, I think I got what I need to say at first. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Go ahead.
All right. So to start off, I think we were a bit thrown off here, or sort of, I guess. I remembered when No Way Home, well, not No Way Home, when Spider-Man 3 was like announced. We don't have a title for it yet. It's just, Spider-Man 3, it's coming. Like we were like speculating a lot, saying like, oh, what will happen in this movie? I think we're gonna touch on the part where like Peter Parker is like trying to, prove himself that he's not, the killer, and we're gonna use like scrolls to do it and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff. Because in the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, no, Far From Home,
Right.
like it was revealed that Nick Fury wasn't even there. That was actually just the scrolls.
Uh-huh.
Like, but yeah, but then technically, like we thought that was like the main premise of the movie, but it turns out, that's like literally, it's not even the first act. It's more like just the introduction, more or less. Because like they resolved that part pretty easily. I wouldn't say I was disappointed in it, but
That was a
it
great
wasn't the main
opening
point.
scene too. That was a great opening scene too, because you directly set up of like continuing what happens, and then Peter Parker on the run, literally,
Yeah,
and they
Peter
did
Parker on
that
the
really
run.
well, and how people hate him. There was a mob against him, and like the whole sequence in the apartment, and they find out everything. That was insane, and I thought that was pretty well done throughout that whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Actually, what I like about that is it's not just people hate him. There was, it's a bit more realistic. There were indifferences. Some people hate him. Some people still support him. So it's a bit, real world kind of deal. When if this thing were to happen
Mhm.
to someone, there's always two sides. So I like that. It's more immersive. And of course, the reason why I don't entirely hate the resolvement of his like, crimes and whatever is because they got someone special to deal with it.
Who is it?
Who is this man? Oh, it's none other than Matt Murdock. They
That was
actually
so
have,
cool to see.
yeah,
That was so
and it's
great
the
to see
same
him there.
Charlie Cox as well. I just want to say, dude, I feel so bad for Kelvin and Tagu because they were like, oh, when are we gonna get to see, what is it, Daredevil? When is he gonna appear? I bet he's gonna appear in, what's it, She-Hulk in 2022. I was just like,
Yeah,
I was just like, don't say anything because I know
yeah.
for a fact he appeared there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, no, the theater were gasping. They were like, it's the meme that they were like that. And I was
I
like,
think
oh shit.
half my theater knew who he
They
was,
ch-
half the other doesn't know. But then they sort
yeah,
of
no,
like,
you
wait, who's
mentioned
that?
that.
And then the
Yeah.
people saying that's where, oh, that's the guy from Daredevil.
Yeah,
But
You mentioned that. Yeah. It's just like some people are like, wait, who that? 'Cause they didn't watch the series. Oh yeah, and I just like the fact that like, oh look, we get to see Matt Murdock. That's one thing. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. He resolved all the issues and stuff. And then suddenly a guy who's like, I hate you, Spider-Man. Just catches a brick
how did you do
midair.
that? I'm a pretty good
Like,
lawyer.
I'm a pretty good lawyer. Oh, that is. Oh, I was like, that is badass. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah,
That is
I
definitely
love it.
Daredevil with that reflex. It's not even Spider-Man sensed that, but
And
he
it's
did.
he's only there in one scene. I love that it doesn't overshadow anything, but it's just
I
such
know,
a
right?
great
Yeah.
setup to the universe. It's so good.
Yep.
Um,
Because people who didn't
and yeah,
watch the series
that's
obviously aren't like, oh, look, it's someone's important. They're just like, who's that? They wouldn't know.
and the insane
Oh,
part is that's barely the first act of the film.
yeah, I know.
Because
That's why.
I think the first act ends when the spell got fucked up.
Oh,
So that's like
yeah. When people are
because
starting to come in.
and like that's that the whole thing where the villain all comes in, and I think they did that so well with the explanation of everything, and like the villains are like confused as well of why they're there, which is really cool. Um, and like when we first saw them in the highway fight, which I think is a really cool fight with the highway
Yeah.
with Doc Ock and then
Talk.
Goblin eventually. And I love I like I both sort of dislike and like at the same time how easy he defeat Doc Ock because of the nanotech because it's like they make it so simple solution.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. But then again, like, I guess they didn't have enough runtime for like a proper, fight sequence where he defeats
It's
Doc
smart.
Ock or the
It's
other. But
smart
it is a
writing. I
smart
tell you,
move.
I'll give you that
Yeah.
because you have the technology. Why not? But yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I like how all the villains have again. I mean, mentioned in non-spoiler, all the villains have their own sort of motivation. Um, like I'm not really sure what the lizard wants. He's like the weakest part of the villains, in my opinion.
Yeah. He
But
was
like
just kind of
Electro
there.
Electro wants the power, which is pretty much
Yeah.
the same character from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he loves the arc reactor. He got absorbed to it, so that makes sense with him. Goblin was really good. He have like the switch between Willem Dafoe switch between Norman Osborn and innocent and like a scientist,
Yeah,
and like that
Norman and Goblin. Yeah.
yeah, and then like whenever he turns a goblin with the smile, the crooked face is like so good, and like the
Yeah.
menace, the
It's a
mania of
creepy
that
smile.
character it's really that is such a good performance of him, and like um, Doc Ock and like him not trusting anyone, because like he's trying to figure out what's wrong with him too. But yeah, all the villains are really fleshed out, and again, like talking about fan service, I love the subtle jab of like, oh, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself, and like
Somewhat of yeah, yeah, the memes made here. Sorry, just a bit to bring it up.
yeah,
Bob, yeah, the memes
the
made it,
power
and
of the
I'm so happy.
sun,
Yeah,
the
it did.
power of the
Yeah,
sun in the palm of my hands of the Doc Ock
yeah,
at the with and holding the arc reactor callback to Spider-Man 2. So I love the callbacks and everything.
yeah. So yeah, I do think the villains were written well for the most part. Sadly, Lizard wasn't, as you said, wasn't the most fleshed out. But I think I actually did want to mention about Peter himself first. Yeah, I think we've mentioned this off stream. That we never get to really see the Spidey senses actually happening. But now in this one, I guess
But they do it so well.
yeah, they do it so well because like, especially in like the apartment scene, like when Goblin was like he was trying to deceive them, trying to do his own thing. So he was like sensing and everything was like not what do you call it? Faded out. It's like, Peter, are you okay? What's
Mhm.
happening? And it suddenly just like stopped him on time. So I like that. It's like it's not just like Spidey senses, but there's also like a sense of character to it for him in a way. So yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
let's talk about Aunt May's death because that's a big moment in the
Oh,
theater.
that was
That's a big
tragic.
moment of
Yeah.
the that's a big turning point. I think that's the end of. I would say that's probably the end of the second act because that's when after that we follow the beginning of the third act is when the three Spider-Man is there, which is awesome and we'll touch too.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
that was I I sort of knew someone was gonna die. I was not really expecting Aunt May, but I was worried as soon as the spider
You
sense
predicted
picked up.
Happy, right? Didn't you? Or was it
I
someone
thought
else? I
Happy
can't
was gonna
remember.
die.
Right,
I thought
yeah.
Happy was gonna die because they're sort of setting him up as Uncle Ben, especially in the beginning of the film as well. Um, Sort of like his Uncle Ben character in a way. But like
Right.
as soon as the spider sense kicked in the apartment, like you said, um, and Aunt May was the only normal human there, I
Yeah.
I had a bad feeling about it. My own spider sense picked up. I was like, oh, this is not gonna end well, and they killed her
Yeah.
off with Goblin. Um, and that was a sad part in the theater, and like the way how and she delivers the with great power comes great
Yeah.
responsibility.
I
Um,
remembered in the theater, like when she said that, everyone kind of like gasped because, like, oh, she said the line, and it's like, oh wait, that was actually like properly timed and well delivered, because that's how that's what Uncle Ben said in the Tobey
before he
Maguire
dies,
one
yeah,
before he dies as well, right? Yeah, so I was like, oh damn,
more or
I
less,
wasn't
yeah.
entirely surprised, I should say, when Aunt May died because I was the one who said like, oh, I think she's gonna die, but but I like how they made her. That's kind of sexy. I like how they made her die. I mean, how she died. It's like
Because
it's very
she was
character
hiding it
story.
too. It wasn't.
Yeah, yeah,
You can clearly tell she got hit by the glider.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You could tell.
but
Yeah,
it wasn't like directly stabbed into the death. It's like she was hiding it. So we were dreading as an audience member, we were dreading moment like, oh no, is she actually okay? Because she was weak, definitely. And they were
yeah,
both weak at that moment. And Goblin directly flew away. But and as soon as you realize that there was blood in Peter's hands and Peter sort of realized it, at the same time we realize it, I'm like, no, they're gonna kill off Aunt May. And that just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
ugh.
Because like because after she got hit, she did got up, and we're like, oh, she seems fine. I guess a bit hurt, but then she's actually gonna die on there. Oh, that was tragic, and that was also like a turning point for Peter. You can see like he not only was he like saddened, he was also like angered by the
The
fact. Like, I guess
rage.
similar, yeah, the rage. Basically, like all the other Spider-Mans got it right because Tobey Maguire he went
Yeah.
directly after the killer. How about
He
Andrew?
mentioned
I'm
it
not
in the
sure what else
film too.
Andrew. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
mentioned
that's
it in the
true.
film
Yeah,
too how like again, as soon as Toby and Andrew comes in, and the rooftop scene is one of my favorite scenes. And
yeah,
they mention how they don't want him to be bitter about it because like Andrew Garfield mentioned how he becomes bitter after Gwen's death, and Toby
yep,
after Ben's death, he directly seek the his killer, but it doesn't make him feel any better. So they don't want
yeah,
him to do that, which is why when they at the end of the fight against Goblin, when he's beating the shit out of Goblin at the Liberty, they stopped him. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like trying to prevent
Because
him
they're like
from being
mature
the.
Peters that know exactly what happens. When they try to do this, they don't
They
want
don't
him
want
to.
Peter to go through it. They want this Peter to be the best version of Peter Parker possibly.
Yeah, yes, I like that. That's
So
like the
I love
sense
that.
of
Yeah.
seniority of them. But I guess let's trace back a little bit. Let's actually go
Mhm.
to the actual reveal of the other Spider-Mans. Because
Uh-huh.
to be
That
honest,
was
I
exciting.
wasn't thinking straight. Because the first time they did it, it was like when Ned, for some reason, I don't know how, he just suddenly knows how to open a portal. Like, yeah, we saw
Spring.
Spider-Man in the alleyway. It's just like, Peter, come here, and they ran. I was like, wait, is that Andrew Garfield? Because I don't remember what his suit looks like, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But then, yeah, when he jumped out, revealed, I was like, the whole theater cheered for me at least. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about your theater. Oh,
Oh
what
yeah.
happened there?
Oh yeah. The theater.
Cheered.
As soon as they're like, "Hey Peter, Peter," and the theater, I think half of my theater know what's going on. The other half is still confused.
Uh,
So there was a slow rise to the cheer. I knew exactly what's
uh
going on after I saw the eyes because Andrew Garfield, especially after the rewatch, I sort of know the
yeah, yeah,
costume. Andrew Garfield's eyes is just so big in the costume, so it's like that's Andrew Garfield. Let's fucking go. Let's go. So yeah, it's insane.
and I
Uh,
love that. That reveal was surprising. But
and then they
Toby
did the same again
Maguire's
for
one is
Toby.
yeah, but the Toby one isn't as well. I guess it's because everyone has already cheered. They know they've expected him to come along. But I like that how he appeared. It's not as Spider Man. He just kind of like, oh, I just went through this portal and it
I hope
closed.
that's okay.
uh,
I love that so much though, because that's so much a character. And think about this: everyone's
yeah.
criticism of the original, those two casting is like, Tobey Maguire is perfect Peter Parker. He's okay as Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield
Mm,
is the perfect Spider-Man. He's okay as Peter Parker. And in this film, the first time we see Andrew Garfield is as Spider-Man. The first time we see Tobey Maguire is as Peter Parker, and I love that.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Yeah, because he did came in
Right?
as
Someone
Peter,
pointed.
not
I didn't
as
thought of that initially
Spider-Man.
too, but a friend of mine pointed out. I'm like, that is so true. I love that they did that, and like they even mentioned like, oh, so, that he's hiding the suit inside the whole time, and I love
Mm.
the subtle gem of like, so do you have a costume inside there, or are you just gonna go into battle as a cool youth pastor? I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
so youth pastor. Yeah, I was like, and he's just like that.
Uh,
The thing is, like, when he did this, just like reveals the outfit. The theater also cheered.
I
They're like,
love that.
whoa, because they saw that he is actually still
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Oh,
So
yeah, but then I should
he's
mention,
not branding himself as Spider-Man. He's gonna be as a
yeah,
normal guy, of course. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah, because
I love that
yeah,
one. I love the reveal of it.
actually, yeah, there. I do want to talk about the interactions between the three Spider-Mans after the rooftop scene, especially. Well, I mean, that's we've already covered that. That's like the most powerful ones for story-driven. Get to learn, the other Spider-Mans like
Mhm.
tragedies, but I do like their like casual like interactions because they're technically like they're all like kind of the same. They're both like geeks and nerds, and they were like, oh, we must when they were like building the stuff to help the villains. I don't know. I like that like little scene, where they're just all interacting at once. It's nice. I think Andrew just said like, oh, I've always wanted to have brothers or something. That was no, that was
Yeah,
quite neat and right. That was kind of cute. And I do like the
yeah.
I do like the part where he's like, no, what's his name? Ned. Ned was like, Peter, yes. All three of them just like, yes. No, Peter Parker.
In
We're
the
still
lab,
all the same.
in the,
Yeah, in the lab, we're still all
in
the
the
same.
lab.
Yeah.
I do like that they give
I like
the
that.
amount of time they were there. I don't know if they were gonna be quick, but they gave a good amount of all them being there and being able to talk back and forth with each other, which I love. And I like that they had a moment to all be Peter Parker and showcase their smarts and like fixing that thing. I love that we got a moment with that as well, of them being Peter Parker and them talking about. I like where Ned's talking about like, oh yeah, to Toby, yeah, my best friend tried to kill me, like,
Oh,
okay.
oh, he was
So it's
talking
like,
about Harry. He was talking about Harry Osborn, was it?
yeah,
When he
yeah,
said
he
that, right? Just
was.
making sure. Yeah.
I do
Damn.
love all of them talking about referencing all the subtle jabs to the previous film. It's so much.
Yeah.
It's both fan service, but so much needed at the same time, which is what I love about it. Um, and just tracing back a little bit, and we'll touch it. Like, yeah, we have five villains, and
Right.
we were
Yeah.
thought it was to be six villain. Katie Lynch said how J. Jonah Jameson is pretty much a six villain. The more I think about it, the sort of I agree because he's a mental villain to Spider-Man, really, because he's against
Yeah.
him the whole time.
Yeah.
And thinking back in the theater, at least for me,
Yeah.
there was a moment where made me pissed off the most. It's not at any of the actual physical villains, but it's at the moment where J. Jonah Jameson is talking about how Spider-Man is like literal menace to society, and that's after
hmm
Aunt May died. I don't
Oh
want to.
yeah.
I want to punch J. Jonah Jameson so much because of like, dude, give him a fucking break, dude. His aunt just died, and you're rubbing it in his face, saying how he's like every Spider-Man is.
Yeah. He's
Destruction lays
responsible
out. I'm
for it.
like,
Yeah.
I hate that so much, and it's such perfect writing as well. So it's in a way he's sort of a villain
Really.
too, if you think
You know
about
what?
it.
I guess I didn't think of it that way. Like, no, he wasn't physically there, but he did. You know, it is technically all this stuff technically happened because of him. Well, no, it started technically off Mysterio, and then it led to him. But yeah, so it's like, yeah,
He's
because of
so
him, everybody knows it's Peter Parker, and all this stuff happened. But
and he's
basically, all
controlling the
of it
media
technically
too.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, controlling
Tec-
and
yeah. Now think of it. Yeah, technically, all this movie started is all because he was like the real identity is Peter Parker, public enemy number one. All because of that. All because of him. Basically, the whole movie happened. Oh
yeah.
shit!
J.K.
Now I didn't
Simmons
think
is really
about it.
good. I'm glad they bring him back. I think his role in the film is perfect amount in this, and I think they did a good job with his character pretty much. Both as
Uh,
comic relief in a way, but also as like
yeah,
the sixth villain in a way mentally for
mentally,
Peter.
yeah. Oh,
But yeah, um, yeah, I love again the interaction between the three of them. Just feels like you said, it feels very natural. it feels great to see the reference. Like Simple Joe said, Tobey Maguire's irony about vengeance and losing his friend, and teach Spider Tom Holland's about the consequences
Spider-Man,
of
yeah.
revenge. Like, yeah, again, the callback to everything is really good. Um, and like Garfield's irony of losing his love and sacrifice of being Spider-Man, how it affected around him. Yeah, I like that too. And
Yeah.
we
I mean,
predicted
that's
it in
how
the
it works.
trailer.
Yeah.
We predicted in the trailer that it was gonna be Garfield who saves MJ, and it's true because
Uh-huh.
Tom was really actually going for it, but Goblin went in the
Yeah,
Liberty,
Goblin went
and
in.
then
Yeah.
Garfield is like, you can tell Garfield in this moment like, oh no, I'm not letting this happen again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he
you
had
can
a
see his
moment to
face like
himself.
when he got swept away by Goblin, he was like, "Oh, it's like up to me. I have to do this, otherwise, he can live with
And like
himself again."
after he saves MJ, I like how it's not like him asking MJ, "Are you okay?" but it's MJ asking him, "Are you okay?" Because it's like
Yeah, because
Garfield was definitely in a state of like it hits home to him, you know.
think about it. It's a bit similar to no. It's basically the same as episode 4 of Hawkeye. We've discussed this, where Kate was hanging off the building and Hawkeye catches her because he was thinking of Natasha falling off and he failed to
Yeah.
save her. And this is like, a similar case where Andrew Spider-Man failed to save what's her name? Gwen. So yeah, I like
Mhm.
that. That moment was very touching. And it seems like people in the theater understood it as well because they were like
Oh yeah.
oh, like, they kind of they felt him, And I felt that. I was like, oh shit, he's actually like emotional because of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Again, I love all the subtle. It's unnecessary, yet it adds so much to the character of like the organic web shooter and the web shooter
yeah.
banter. I like
Like,
how
how do
they
you do that?
mention,
I don't
yeah,
know. Just
I love how they mentioned like, have you ever got like, because I ran out of web shooter. What about you? Oh yeah, I got mental block. Sometimes I love that they have that discussion. I love that they
I have
discuss
no
about
idea, but like to me, that's like a bit more fan service because like that's probably like at the back of people's heads, like they'll think like, how does he, run out or whatever, and they're like showing it on
yeah,
screen. I quite
but
like
it adds
that.
so much. It adds so much to the character too, and I love it.
That's
And like they
Adds
talk about
character.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I've been to space before. Oh, I've also fought an alien, but he's not purple and I haven't been to space. What? You've been to space? I fought a Russian dude in a rhino costume.
I
I
like
love
I
that.
like that's like literally that meme from Word of Builders is like, oh, I've been to space. You've been to space? I've only fought an alien. You guys fought aliens?
Yeah.
It's basically like that. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, and like and I like that they struggle teaming up at first because they never work as a team. They always work individually,
Yeah,
which is really true.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then like,
And I like how
oh,
they
we're in a team.
admitted it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been part of the Avengers. Cool. What's the Avengers?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
it's
they don't.
Earthlight is
Yeah,
here.
other
Listen over.
heroes
We
don't
have to do this
exist.
now.
Yeah.
In the middle of a fight as well.
Wait, I want to mention about your you sent me online about that picture. They did the meme where the Spider-Mans were pointing. I know the context was different in the movie, but it's still funny how it looked, similar. They were like that was during that part when they were bantering about teamwork basically. So yeah, I like that, yeah, interaction between them. I don't know why they just feel more real. Especially I don't know, and I also find it quite funny when like, Toby is the oldest of the Peters, and he's like, "Oh, I have a back problem. Here, I'll
They
straighten it
literally
up for
crack the
you."
back.
Yeah. Oh, that feels better.
Never, never in 100 years I would ever dream or even imagine a scenario where Andrew Garfield is cracking Tobey Maguire's back.
I know, right? That's like
Never in my
that's,
mind I
that's
would have
like
thought of it.
something you would have never thought of, but it happened on screen.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole Liberty sequence was awesome. I love the action sequence. This is easily the best action sequence in all of Spider-Man. And like again, Willem Dafoe physically fighting Tom Holland was insanely
in in the apartment, yeah,
intense.
as well,
In the
yeah.
intense, that was so physical. It was crazy. We've never seen that in this iteration of Spider-Man. And like again, the whole Liberty was good. Like everyone have the chance to fight, and they all have their powers as well. The whole action sequence was great. We didn't even touch about Tom Holland versus Doctor Strange because there
Oh
was
yeah,
so
we
much
should have
going on in
gone
this
back to
film,
that, yeah.
and that sequence was really good. That was like visually really great. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was. I was gonna say it's a bit trippy, but I mean, no, I wasn't as confused. I didn't fall to sleep like I did in the first Doctor Strange movie. But I like the whole like that mirror dimension where they were swinging around. That was pretty cool. And I like the wait, what's somebody mentioned it here? Hello, Naruto the man. Yeah, Spider-Man being able to move despite in astral form is crazy. That was like I didn't expect that, because he was like, "Give me the
No, me too.
box." No, how are you doing this? I don't know. I like that whole sequence, and I like the fact that he beat him
Yeah,
using mathematics. That is, well, I guess it shows how smart Peter is. I guess this is his character. He's a
yeah.
smart dude.
The gym. I
Ah,
love that. Yeah, the reference about his smarts. Um, but yeah, there again lots of great sequence again, and I like that all of the superhero because we never got closure with Andrew Garfield's character. We somewhat got closure with Toby in his own films. We never got it with Andrew, so we sort of got closure for both of them in here. So it
yeah, yeah.
feels nice. But at the same time, I like that this is still a Tom Holland Spider-Man story. He's still the main lead. The
Still the
other
main
two
lead. Yeah.
support him. And I love that with the story. I love that with the music. There are subtle themes of the music. Michael Giacchino is a master at. He's my favorite composer. Um, I love that he put themes of James Horner's Amazing Spider-Man theme and
Mhm.
Danny Elfman's theme, but it's still the main theme is still Tom Holland's theme, which is the whole this movie is. It's still Tom Holland's story, and I love that. Um, and like again, that ending was
Mhm.
really emotional and it hurts because he had to say goodbye to his friends.
Yeah.
The moment in the bakery was really sad, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Oh
if
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
see a payoff in the next film, or if this is gonna be the last time we see them. If this is the last time we see them, that's gonna mean so much more upon rewatching it because it's gonna be super sad of him how he says goodbye to MJ and Ned. And I'm just like getting emotional talking about it because it hurts. There's so much more
Yeah.
depth to this one, so much
I do want to
darker.
talk mention about this one because I did already told you again, but I wanted to say it here. I'm pretty sure people have gotten it as well. I remembered in the first Spider-Man movie, he said like, "What is your biggest fear?" And he said to be forgotten. That was his biggest fear, is to be forgotten. Everybody doesn't know who he is. The ending of this Spider-Man literally is him being forgotten. Nobody knows Peter's existence. So he basically like. So I guess it's more understanding now why in the first sequence when he was talking with Doctor Strange, he was like, "No, no, no. They have to know. They have to know. They have to know." And then, well, shit happens. But yeah, that's because he doesn't want to be, completely forgotten, I guess, by, at least the people he cares about. But then, to save the world, he was willing to face his fear. So I like that kind of
Yeah,
concept. That was very characterful, I guess,
that
how you say it.
that is the literal definition of with great power comes great responsibility, and you have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And that is like probably the possible best. Like Bobzilla said, it signifies transformation to actual Spider-Man. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely the case, even with the ending when he's moving in to his own place and like swinging out, which I love that shot. I'm thinking about the way how that shot was really cool in the snow
Oh
in New
yeah.
York winter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really it shows so much of Peter's maturity. Like we slowly see that throughout the whole trilogy, but this one really shows his maturity, and I really appreciate that they took time for that. Um, and yeah, it's really weird to say this, but like going into this film, I was like, this film is insane. It's Spider Verse. They're literally doing a live action Spider Verse.
Yeah,
I don't even know
basically.
how they're gonna continue this. I don't even know how they're gonna top this, how they're gonna excite me with the next story. But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like
that's
being full
true.
on honest. At the end of this film, I am more excited of seeing the next film more than anything, just because we're having sort of like soft reset, and we're gonna see if they decide to continue the story with I don't know what deal with Sony and whatever. It's like
Mm.
we're really seeing Peter into adulthood and seeing him into the Spider-Man mental and taking the responsibility, and that excites me so much more than anything. So it's a weird accomplishment that they did that they actually make me feel that because it's such a big stakes that they go into this film.
Yeah, yeah. I also like want to mention, the maturity of Peter Parker, like, well, as Spider-Man. I just yeah no I like the fact that he basically learned all of this basically from his previous well not his previous self his other his other self from the other dimensions. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I do hope we get to see like a more fully fledged Spider-Man in the I guess quote unquote soft reboot in a way. Uh, I don't know what
Yeah.
else to say. It's just it is such a I
Let's.
like the ending because I keep telling everyone I like bittersweet endings. This was I think this is as bittersweet as it gets. I mean,
It
everyone
is.
forgets who he is. It's tragic. He's lost people he loved. He's lost people he's loved, and the ones that still exist don't know he exists. That is
It's happy
tragic.
sad. It's happy
Happy
sad. No
sad.
pun intended with happy involved. That is actually one of my favorite scenes for the whole film, aside from the rooftop scene, which I totally
Yeah.
love. Um, I that ending scene with the cemetery with Happy, like with on top of in May's grave and Happy coming in, and like it was a little bit awkward because he doesn't know what's going on, and then Happy's like clearly showing that he doesn't know Peter. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
I know him through Spider Man, and like Happy's like, I used to know someone. I lost someone recently, and so clearly talking about Tony,
He's
and now
talking
I
about
lost
Tony, yeah.
this, and I don't know if
Their legacy like lives
their
on.
legacy will like live on past them, and like
Yeah, past them,
the,
yeah.
Peter reassured of like it will of like of him he's gonna live up to them and make sure that they're what they stand for in life stand for past life, and I thought that was a really well done scene, and
Yeah,
just
that
the
was
acting of
powerful,
it,
yeah.
I thought it was really really good, and it's honestly this that might be my favorite. There is so many funeral moments in all the Spider-Man films. That might be my favorite. It topped of my Spider-Man 1 funeral scene.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, I just thought like also thinking is like it's not just Spider-Man, I guess, that has a lot of loss. Like, yeah, now think about it. Yeah, Happy has lost so many people he has ever known. Actually, like, yeah, because Happy has interacted with a lot of people before. I mean, like he's interacted with Black Widow, she's gone. Tony, he's gone. May, she's gone. Now
He's
Spider-Man,
lost
well,
as
he's
one
not
few
gone, but
times. He
he's
doesn't know. He
forgotten
doesn't know
everything.
about
Yeah, he doesn't
Peter. He knows
know.
Spider Man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's actually lost quite a lot, and
All
that's
he got is
actually pretty
Morgan now.
tragic on his end as
Yeah,
well.
he got a
Yeah,
Morgan Stark. Yeah. The
yeah.
day Happy dies, I'm gonna cry even harder, man.
Oh yeah, no. But honestly, if he dies, I hope like it's something very moving,
Yeah.
emotional, because he's actually a very good character. I
Yeah.
do actually. He didn't appear much in this movie, I think, apart from the apartment scene, but
They did a good
I quite
amount.
liked him.
Yeah.
He kind of well, not steal the show, but like he finished strong in the end. Because usually he's
Mhm.
just like comic relief, but then
Deservedly.
that one scene,
Jon Favreau started this whole universe. So deservedly he
yeah,
earns his role. It's like as he happy. But yeah,
yeah,
do
yeah,
you have
yeah.
any negatives? We've been talking about positives. Do you have any negatives aside from like maybe small nitpicks here and there or actual legit negatives that you have?
To be honest here, I guess we can kind of go around the chat a bit because
Yeah,
Star
the
Machine
go-tos,
did
yeah.
mention this here, and I quite agree with him. So he says there was so much inconsistencies I dislike. Electro doesn't know Parker in his universe. Why is he dragged if the other villains are there because they know Peter Parker is Spider-Man? Yeah, that actually like I was like thinking about that. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like he revealed he was Peter Parker in the end of the movie,
The
basically. Like he
film.
took off his mask, like, oh, I thought you were, I
Because
thought
you're
you were
black now.
black.
Well, maybe there is a Spider-Man out there who's black. Oh, Miles Morales.
Yeah,
Oh,
ooh, Miles
but
Morales
yeah,
reference, I like
yeah.
that.
There are some of those consistencies. I agree, like the nitpicks. Again, I have the similar nitpick with the someone commented. I think several people commented the Ned being
Yeah.
able to do sling ring really
Oh yeah,
easily.
that as well. I think it was up
But
someone.
I am able to
Pharmacy also
like
mentioned
let
it.
go
Yeah,
of it a bit because he got lucky opening it, but he cannot close it. So I guess there is a payoff.
yeah,
That he's
yeah,
not just a master of it. He just got
yeah.
really 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 lucky.
Yeah, as
Um,
Simple Joe said, yeah, honestly, Ned using magic is kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, it was. Sure, it's comedic value, but they didn't use it for the final battle. Well, apart from that one scene where what's his name, Lizard chased them into the statue. So yeah,
mhm.
but yeah, at least it's not like integral, not 100% integral to the story, I guess. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, and like I guess again, like
What
the
else? I'm
writing
not so
for
sure.
Lizard is really weak,
Oh
but
yeah,
again, that's
Lizard.
fine.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like in the first Andrew, was it the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man? But he wasn't. that strong of a villain either there. So at
He's
least
better
not
written.
compared to
He's better written there. I don't think there is a clear motivation for
supposedly.
him in this one.
I know, right? Like he doesn't seem to want to kill Peter
He's
or anything.
the
He doesn't.
he's the only villain that doesn't have a motivation in there.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm not sure. Oh wait, no. I think they just add him because there is no. Was there no other candidates?
They're not gonna
Rhino,
add
we did.
Venom, and we're gonna
No,
touch
they're not
on
gonna
Venom
add
in a bit.
Venom.
They're not gonna bring Rhino.
They're not gonna bring
So
Rhino.
yeah,
No, they didn't even like. They kind of just straight up ignored Scorpion. Like we saw him in Homecoming, but then nothing much after. Yeah, I guess they just
yeah,
didn't have another villain. Well, to be honest, like, oh, they could have removed one. I mean, they're not even the Sinister Six, I guess. Oh, unless you count Jonah Jameson.
JJ, it's a menace. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess again, I am rewatching it tonight. I'm curious to see what my thoughts. I think by what I can predict watching it tonight, everything about May is gonna mean so much more now because I know she's dying. She's gonna die, and like her
Mhm.
legacy. Because like throughout, even before then, she was the one who convinced Peter to open his heart to bring in Goblin, and Goblin was the one who killed May at the end of it. I think that
Yeah.
betrayal is just gonna hit so much harder knowing that, and I'm curious to see if it does. But yeah,
You know. Yeah, because I wanted to mention like the final fight scene was very emotional. You can see just how angry Peter was. He was like so wanting to kill him. Yeah,
yeah,
him.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
So as
That's
Joe
I
said, the
again I
moment
thought
when Tom, so determined to revenge kill Goblin, got stopped by Spider Toby to remind Tom about the consequences of revenge is a great decision. Yeah, I like that scene as well. It's pretty powerful. So
yeah,
obviously, yeah. Oh yeah, Toby didn't actually want to kill Goblin either. He just dodged his wing glider, and the wing glider impaled him. Right, that's what happened in the first movie. So that was like
yeah. And he
unintentional
killed
on his end.
himself pretty
Yeah,
much.
he killed himself as well. So he didn't want. Yeah, he didn't actually want Goblin to die either. Or I mean, no, not Goblin, but Norman
Yeah.
Osborn.
Yeah, I really appreciate how they're able to conclude every villain, every hero, every character have a closure. And that's
Hmm.
pretty wild to see the checklist that they did. They have 5 villains, 3 Spider-Mans, Aunt May, Happy, Ned, MJ, and they all have their closure in a way. Even Doctor Strange fit very well in here. And I thought that was like a testament to the screenplay. Um, and I thought that was really good. But yeah, um, again, this is my favorite Spider-Man movie already. It's number 3 on my MCU rankings, just below Endgame and Infinity War. Maybe it will jump up after tonight's rewatch. We'll see. I really love this film. I cannot nitpick anything much as like small nitpicks. I thought everything was really done really well. And obviously I love
Yeah.
the fan service, but I thought the fan service was done really well, as really good as well. And as a
Right.
Spider-Man fan, I get to see so many different parts of Spider-Man in one movie that is wild to see.
Yeah, I think where is it? This is so far up. Yeah, here you go. I think
There's so many comments.
yeah, there's a lot
Appreciate
of
it.
I can understand why. Okay, it's a very good movie, and as Bob mentioned here, even without the fan service, it was a pretty solid movie. I think yeah, you know what? I guess I can see that as well. Honestly speaking, I think I have to watch this film a second time just to make absolutely sure of what I think is of how really good the movie is.
Mhm.
And but like all in all, so far, this is Phase 4, right?
Phase
This is
4.
the phase.
This is the
Yeah, this
best
is
of
Phase
Phase
4.
4 easily.
This is the easy best of Phase 4 easy by miles away.
For movie wise, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
definitely up in the Avengers Infinity War Endgame kind of deal.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Before we go to the post credit scene, let's talk. Let's answer some of the comments here.
Yeah,
Simple
some
Joe
of the
said, "Rate
comments.
your Spider-Man best delivered. Great with great power comes great responsibility." Line. He's definitely picked No Way Home, and this is his rankings. Um,
Mhm.
do you have an opinion on this?
Wait, I'm gonna be real honest. I kind of forgot what happened in the Amazing Spider-Man one. Do you
That's
remember
the
the
one where
exact
it's
scene?
like that. Yes, but they never said with great power comes great
No,
responsibility.
but
It's
they had
like,
an iteration of it. Like they said something else.
yeah,
I
it
know
was
you said
like
it.
I said it. It's
It
already
was
here. If
very
I can
long.
find it,
It was very long. I remembered that.
it was. Yeah, it was like he believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had the moral obligation to do those things. That's what at stake here, not choice, responsibility. That's
Yeah,
that's
that
Martin
one.
Sheen's line, and
I mean, yeah, I
uh,
mean, I know it's not as concise, but it is same meaning, and I think that has a proper delivery, but I'm not so sure which
I
one I.
I think this one hits more because of the timing of it. I think obviously the Amazing Spider-Man one, people sort of make fun of it, so it doesn't have the same payoff to me.
Yeah,
The original Spider-Man one, it's good, it means a
good. Yeah,
lot, and it hurts after the callback. But at the moment, Peter was just shrugging it off because he doesn't care
yeah, yeah.
at
At
the
that
moment.
point, yeah, he just wanted vengeance. Yeah,
No, he wanted it
yeah. I
for the
guess
money.
like
He wants to use the power for the money because after that he go to the wrestling and the
yeah,
first
yeah,
one,
because he was trying to impress like Mary Jane
MJ.
while he wants to get a
He's going
car.
to
So
earn the car. Yeah,
yeah,
but this one, it's right before she dies, and it's right after Peter was like, "Aunt May, I don't think I." He was about to just like, I'm just gonna use the box. He was done. He's just gonna send him back. But May convinced him, no, you gotta do the right thing. And I think that's
oh
why
yeah,
it
oh yeah,
hit
I forgot that he
harder.
said like I don't care if they die or whatever. He's just like straight up
Yeah,
done with them.
and May is always fighting for the right thing, which is why I think this again one of the and May is so good in this.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
so
And,
sad to see.
and I like the fact that like, well, it's not that like May basically convinced Peter and Peter convinced the other Peters that they want, well, not to convince, like the other Peters like agree that they want to, properly cure them, treat them rather than just sending them back and then meet their fate, however way it comes. So I like,
Yeah,
yeah, so I quite like, that. So basically, it's more humane, I guess, in
yeah.
a way.
Yeah, and again, talking about that line, "The great power comes with responsibility." I love that it transcends in the rooftop scene. They talk about how, yeah, I guess what Uncle Ben dies for. That line, it transcends different universe, still the same message.
Oh
It
yeah,
can
yeah.
it,
They
it
he
means a
finished
lot.
the
That
quote right.
connects a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot that he finished the quote like with great power comes with great responsibility. And they're like, "How did you know that?" My uncle Ben taught you. I was like, "Oh, that, that."
yeah,
Yeah, I felt that. You felt that there.
yeah. Again,
Oh,
I love all of that.
the
But yeah,
movie writing on this is really good.
yeah. Yeah, okay. So the post credit scene is not really connected in a way. So let's wrap up our thoughts in a way of this film, and
Mhm.
then we go to the post credit scenes.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's a good idea?
I think it's a good idea. We can wrap it
Okay,
up.
so yeah,
Uh,
you have
would you
any
wrap
final
it up first?
thoughts?
I want to know your final thoughts first because I think I'm pretty like expended
Again, this
here.
is my third favorite MCU. This is easily my favorite live action Spider-Man. It might honestly overthrow into the Spider Verse. I really really appreciate what they did in here. The things that they accomplish was incredible. It really gives. This is the best we've seen Peter Parker. This really cemented as Tom Holland as the top Peter Parker. Um, and yeah, there are small nitpicks here and there, but I thought everything was really well done. The strength of the relationship between him and May, him and Happy, him and Ned, him and MJ, and him with the other Spider-Mans is really great. And the usage of the usage of Doctor Strange, the usage of the villains, I thought was really really good. So it's a great story, and the best part about it is again, they managed to wrap up this great story and yet set up something that makes me excited for the next phase of what Spider-Man is. I think that's a great
Right. Yeah.
accomplishment. And again, when watching Infinity War, I know this. I was watching something special. Watching Endgame, I know I was watching something special. Watching this one, I know this is a cinematic experience that I will always cherish for the rest of my life. So yeah,
Right there. So yeah, so all I can wrap up from this is, as you've said before, yeah, it is. I no, actually no. I think this is definitely the best Spider-Man movie. I think it does beat Into the Spider-Verse, even though this is technically a live action Into the Spider-Verse.
uh-huh.
And I think this is also like the first movie we've ever known that is like an ensemble, but it's from different multiverses. It's not just like the same universe like Avengers was. I'd put this movie at like maybe the second or third. I guess it's like somewhere. I still think like the Avengers like Infinity War and Endgame is still better, but this is definitely like just beneath them slightly. So yeah, and I think it is the best Spider iteration of Spider-Man. Tom Holland is and I think it has like proper writing and everything. Yeah, it's a great
Yeah, pretty
movie.
much.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 as
Obviously,
MCU
was
movie. Pure
11 out
cinema.
of yeah.
And yeah, I also agree. Weirdly enough, this is one of the strongest Andrew Garfield's writing there is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because he's like one of the least
Yeah.
liked of all the. I think he is the least liked of all the Spider-Mans, but I think now people are like more
And
appreciative
they
of
did
him.
shove him aside from time to time, but I think they did a pretty good job with handling it.
Yeah.
And Ariq left. All right, so while I talk to myself until Ariq comes back. I don't know what happened there. Let's touch
I,
on the
I touched the wrong
Nick the
button.
Blip.
Yes.
Uh,
Sorry about that.
let's talk about the post credit scene. Let's talk about the post credit scene real quick. What's your thoughts on the post credit scene?
I'm gonna be real. I was a bit disappointed because nothing much happened with it. It was just him trying to get. It was Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, and Venom. He just wants to get their heads around. Okay, so in this world there are Avengers, there are other heroes, and stuff like that. I feel like they have the throwback. See, I told you the Lethal Protectors was a wasn't a dumb name. I like that. It's quite funny. But
I
um, but to be honest, like I like how basically they went in
that
after this was connected
I
to the end credit scene of Venom 2, right? So I like how they just
yeah.
went in, get phased out immediately. But I do like the fact that there's the fact that Venom, the symbiote, like he left like a piece of his self in that universe. So there is a hint that we might see another Venom. That would be very cool. I would like to see Venom in the
Yeah,
MCU. I mean, why
I
not?
like that they set it up. I I know some people are upset because they want to see Hardy versus Holland. I couldn't care
Mhm.
less, to be honest, because I'm not a fan of the Venom film. So I'm like, that's fine with me. We got a symbiote. Let's do it. I don't care. Take him out of the universe, whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent about it. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Fair enough.
so yeah, I'm indifferent about it. Although that one doesn't. Jezebel Joe said, poor Eddie and Venom, they got sent to the Marvel verse, have a few drinks, and hear Avengers story only to be sent back to the Sony verse. So Marvel verse can steal a symbiote from Sony. I sort of like
That's basically
I
what
sort
it
of
is.
like that this is again, it doesn't make sense why he's here, because he doesn't know Peter Parker, at least I don't.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
same argument with the
In his
Electro
universe, he
was
doesn't know.
never
Yeah.
explained.
Mhm.
Right. At least we never explained if he know Peter Parker or not. So it's weird that he's there. Uh, which is why I think it's more of a Sony being like, hey, you gotta include, you want to do a Spider-Man movie? Include Venom in it. I feel like Sony's playing hardball, and then Kevin Feige is even playing like, you know what? I'll put your Venom in here, and I'll take him out immediately. It's sort of like Kevin Feige saying like, hey Sony, fuck you.
That's basically what
It's sort of
happened.
like,
That
it's
is
sort of like,
basically that is exactly what happened.
it's pretty much right. And I sort of love that. But yeah,
uh,
the Venom
like,
thing was weird. But yeah, that's true.
yeah, it was weird. But
It's
well,
interesting.
wait, I
It's
don't know. I
interesting
mean,
setup though.
I do want to know, like, is anyone here actually like, I don't know, I guess remotely excited to see Venom in the MCU? Not necessarily the same Tom Hardy, but because I don't think Venom would, because I don't Venom wouldn't have his own movie in MCU. I'm pretty sure of that. But I'm pretty sure, but I do hope he does appear in the next Spider-Man movies because they did say like there's gonna do like three
Right.
Spider-Mans, right?
Get the actual
After.
black suit and everything. That could be cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. I hope to see that. Yeah. Because that's. Oh,
Yeah.
and I guess technically
But
the
yeah, that's like the
final,
first.
the second post-credit scene I was gonna say it's not related to Spider-Man.
And yeah, no worries,
Oh,
Naruto. Man, I don't think you gave anything away. I saw your comments earlier asking about. I just put two and two together when you asked earlier. Are you not gonna talk about the other trailer you were referencing to this one?
so you
I
were
just realized it.
mentioning, so Naruto, man, you were mentioning about the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Yeah. Oh, that was I didn't cut
This
that
one,
on. Yeah.
yeah, that's a. I
Yeah.
did not realize it was a trailer. I was not expecting it was a trailer, but I'm glad because we never. The only time they've done this is with Captain America: The First Avenger when they actually show a full trailer of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
So that they did this now, and it's interesting. So I like that a lot, and it looks
Oh, it
exciting.
is the next.
It
It's the
seems like
next
there's a
movie,
tie-in
right?
with What
After.
If.
Oh yeah,
This is the
What
next
If,
one.
and I think it's tied with What If and WandaVision, in my opinion, because it's after Wanda's done with
Definitely.
all the. They mentioned the town. What happened in what was that town
Westview. They
called?
did.
Yeah, Westview. They mentioned
Westview.
Westview in the trailer, so like yeah, it's connected to I guess WandaVision, and there's the evil Doctor Strange. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Basically, this is
So technically,
after.
this is the first one that connects. This is the first one that will have a consequence from a TV show.
Yeah, that's what I've realized as well. Ah, that's pretty cool. So, I mean,
Yeah, so
the end of WandaVision was quite cool. I like how she got her full powers and everything. And I think in the comics, wasn't it like Wanda was trained? Albert gone. Albert.
I lost
I'm
connection for a bit
on.
there. I'm back. But yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
hear you.
Yeah, I was saying like wasn't like Wanda trained by Doctor Strange in the comics or something like how to wield her magic or something like
Not
that.
exactly, but sort of. Yeah, we're definitely gonna see that.
We're gonna see that there in the
And yeah, we're
Multiverse
gonna
of
talk about the
Madness, I
trailer
guess.
in depth once it's actually out. I believe we're gonna talk. This is so. I'm just thinking. This is so curious. I don't know if the trailer is actually released in public before the film even comes out in Japan. That's sort of gonna spoil in a way Calvin Tego. So I don't know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, I just
But
realized. Yeah, technically it would be
once
kind
the
of a
trailer, once
spoil.
the official trailer comes out, we're gonna talk about it more in depth, definitely.
Mhm.
And this is sort of like because they postponed the film from March to May, so maybe there's sort
Yeah,
of like an
March to May.
apology by Marvel, like, "Hey, sorry about that. Here's a trailer." So
Here's a trailer. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. But I guess we'll talk about that later. So I guess we're done with this
yeah,
Spider-Man No Way
pretty
Home
much.
review. Spoiler.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, well, I
it's
should mention. Yeah, I
great.
think I'm gonna give the rating. I don't know. 9.5 is a bit too much. 9.0 is a bit too little. I have to break the middle ground. I'll give it a 9.3 out of 10, realistically. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it so far. It's a good movie. And I feel bad for Kelvin and Tagu. January 7th is so far. Look
I
at
know.
it.
They're gonna get spoiled. I can tell you, they're gonna get spoiled.
Yeah,
one
no,
way
we
or
were
another.
betting like when they were gonna get spoiled. I'm gonna say here, I bet you they're gonna get spoiled by next week.
Right, because they're
These were
gonna
our-
eventually they're gonna start promoting the film with Andrew and Toby. There's no way they're not gonna waste that opportunity. They're definitely gonna do it.
Yeah, and also like if you Google like I don't know, just if you want to buy tickets or Google Spider-Man No Way Home, they were already
Cast is there.
credited. Yeah, the cast is credited there, so it's not like I feel bad for them. Yeah, Japan, that was such a massive delay. 7th of January.
Yeah, that's so messed up. Where is
Stop.
this comment? I want to bring up one last comment before we wrap up. If I can
Yep.
find it. There was a comment. There it is. Charlie and Vincent in 1 week. What a time to be a Daredevil fan. Yeah, it is.
I know, right? Yeah. I just realized both of them.
Calvin will never be able to experience it.
Yeah, at least he knows one of them appeared.
knows one
Let's
of them.
just Kelvin's gonna believe that Daredevil's gonna appear like later in 2022 until January the 7th. That's when he realizes.
Yeah.
And we're just like, yep, we know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all we gotta say. Oof.
Yeah.